What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Seven Figure Photographer Live. Obviously, it's Monday. I don't know why I just thought I was going to say it's Monday, but we all know this is when we do live. So, welcome, everybody. For those of you who are here hanging out with us, please make sure to comment in the comment section. I'm on my own today, so I'm managing it all by myself. I don't have Mia here helping kind of produce things or whatnot. So, if you do have questions, make sure to comment in the comment section. I also left a link in there to join PPA if you are interested. Obviously, that's what we're going to talk about today. The benefits of PPA and what changes PPA just announced that I think are pretty exciting. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we do that, let's go ahead and do a quick intro. What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Marvin, and I have been in the photography industry for 25 plus years. While I love being a creative, business is my passion, and elevating the industry of photography is my focus. I created the Seven Figure Photographer to share my journey to seven figures and to help others find their way too. All right, so, honestly, today I got an email from PPA, and I thought, you know what, this is one of those things that I think is so vital to business as a photographer. I don't like it's not like an end all be all. I don't think you have to be a member of PPA to be well. I know you don't have to be a member of PPA to be a successful photographer, but I do think that there's some benefits and a great deal of help that it does provide. There's a lot of value, I think, in being a member of PPA, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So again, for those of you who are just joining us, please make sure to comment so that I know that you're here. I love to know who we're hanging out with, and would love to answer any questions you guys might have as we talk about this. Now, I know one of the big questions I get is like, what's the difference between like PPA and Sue Bryce's education system? Honestly, the way I look at it is PPA is an organization that doesn't necessarily exist to pad the pockets of one specific person. It is an organization that's put together for the benefit of photographers, to protect photographers, to help the growth of photographers. One example of that, PPA takes the fees from its memberships and they use that towards all the stuff they do for all the photographers as a community. One of the things that they did that I think was huge in the last couple of years is they finally passed a bill for copyright protection for photographers. So there's a lot of great stuff as far as that goes. So welcome, Amy. Dave, glad to have you guys here. So those are like, that's kind of some of the difference in like what different organizations out there are. Sue Bryce, again, is an organization that's owned by, I believe now, WPPI, which her husband is on the board. I don't know. That's kind of all convoluted. I can't give you 100% on how that works. Now, is Sue Bryce Education an excellent program? Absolutely. Like, lots to learn there. A huge benefit to you and your business, because I think that education is always one of the top most important things you can do for your business. Can you be a member of PPA and a member of the Sue Bryce Education? I don't even know what it's really called. Like, maybe I'm like, if Annie were here, she would give me the exact, or even some of you guys might be able to give me some exact. Yes, absolutely. PPA. I think PPA, one of the biggest things about it is that it is kind of like the one like internationally recognized organization for photographers, by photographers, and the growth and that kind of education for photographers. I know the accreditation, that kind of stuff, there are master's degree programs. And when I say master's degree programs, not like your typical or traditional college master's degree kind of thing. But hopefully that makes sense. Shane, welcome. Andrea, welcome. Glad to have you guys here. So what I want to talk about is like, what does it cost to be a member of PPA? What are the benefits of it? And then we're going to jump into the new announcement that happened just recently. Now, before I jump into all that, I'm going to talk about like imaging, which imaging is an event that's held every January. It's typically either in last year we were in DC. This year it's going to be in Nashville. Wait, is it Nashville? I can't remember. Now I got to look. Will you look up? Well, never mind. You're not going to know where to look. Look up Imaging USA. And I'm pretty sure. Well, it was in Georgia one year. I'm pretty sure it's back in Nashville this year. So Dylan's looking it up for us. But anyway, a lot of people ask me, well, what's the difference between going to Imaging, WPPI, some of the small ones? Nashville. Okay, so it is in Nashville. What are the dates? Does it say? January 22nd through 24th. So I actually get to be home. Shane, thank you for throwing the Shane answered, and then I was still talking to you about it. So January 22nd through the 24th, typically they have some pre-con event stuff, like you can go get some extra education beforehand. But people always ask me, like, what are the differences between this, WPPI, Sync, some of the other focused organizations? Now, me personally, some of the ones that I go to yearly, I always go to Imaging, I always go to Sync, I always go to WPPI. Well, most of the time I always go to WPPI. I go to some other individual smaller ones, a lot of my local state PPI stuff. Obviously, I'm president of PPI, so I got to be there. But like, what are the differences? Well, Imaging, I think, is typically one of the better for education. And there is a lot of community aspect there. A lot of people go every year, year over year. So that's great for that. But I love the education there. The education there is, like I said, probably one of my favorites. But that is like when I want some good education, that's typically the place I go. Now, and even maybe not even necessarily like all education. Yeah, but inspiration. There's a lot of great inspiration there. Now, honestly, anytime you cut out and you go out of town, go to a convention or something in your trade, it typically is going to give you, it's going to light a little bit of fire under your ass and get you going for that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things I love about going to conventions specifically is just for that. WPPI, I call WPPI the party. It's in Las Vegas every year. And so maybe that's my own fault because when we go to Vegas, it's just party time. That probably is the case. There is education there. I'm pretty sure there's some good education there. I've never that's not true. I've gone to like one or two classes there. Maybe more than that. I remember a year or two that I actually paid and went to some of the classes. But again, found like I go there for the trade show and mainly just for like the parties with the labs and just a lot of the fun stuff. But mostly, more than anything, I go for the trade show. Sync is more community and the education is really good at Sync most of the time. So for me, those are kind of like the really good nuts and bolts of it. Of course, the smaller stuff, and I feel like the world is kind of, our industry is kind of trending more towards that smaller niche group stuff. Obviously, Sync, the biggest thing about Sync is it is not necessarily, it's more focused on seniors and like portraiture, but mostly seniors and sports. Whereas then you get into like the niche stuff where it is very specific to like weddings, very specific to seniors, very specific to pets, like all those different things. Again, all of them I think are great. I think that if there's one budget you should have that's probably higher than anything, unless you have a studio, that's probably going to take precedence. Your education budget is going to be one that I think is really important. So that being said, like I said, I always go to Imaging every year. I love it. It's just a fun experience. I love to see friends. I love to see people I haven't gotten to see for a long time. And I just love having the opportunity to talk business and just basically hang out with friends and talk about or do the things that we get to do together and really just have that camaraderie and have that that mutual career path, I guess. I don't know what to call it. So, so why join PPA? Well, there's a couple of different things. Now, what does it cost to join PPA? PPA is, I think it's like 300. Let me look. I had it up here. It's like $323 a year for your membership to PPA, or you can do it on a monthly basis. I don't know how to get into it since I'm already a member, but I did find something and I took a screenshot so that I can tell you. Okay, so $323 a year or $27.92 a month. So when you join, I did post a link at the top here. If you guys do decide to join, go in there. It's a referral link. So if you do go search my name at the very top, you can search Samuel Marvin or Sam Marvin, pull that up and use me as a referral. But I want to talk about like the benefits of it. Now, why would you spend $323 or $350 a year on something that you're like, I don't even know what the benefit of this is? Now, there's 2 or 3 things, maybe 4 things that I think are worth their weight in gold when it comes to imaging. I have what's called their, let's see, what is it called? It's like their membership guide. And it kind of talks about like all the top benefits for PPA. The number one first thing that they lead with, and this is what's really cool, is with your membership, it buys you or allots you $15,000 worth of equipment insurance. What that means is that, like, if you drop something, you lose something, of course, you'd have to read all their information about it, but it's $15,000 worth of equipment insurance. Now, to give you an idea, which I probably should use this actually, except for it's probably not worth it. When we were down in Cabo, I got hit by a wave because Dylan refused to block it for me. I'm just kidding. I got hit by a wave. I wasn't too worried about my camera, but there was a little bit of ocean water that sat on top of my Pro Photo trigger, which is $300 or $400. And that is one of those things that would typically be covered under your equipment insurance policy with PPA. So $15,000 of insurance that is going to cover your equipment. So let's just say somebody trips over your tripod, knocks your camera over, busts your camera and lens. Like, have you ever had a camera land on the lens and damage the actual mount and actual body of the camera? Not only that, it shatters the lens. But that's kind of like the situation, the scenario where this equipment insurance or photo care comes into place. $15,000. All you have to do is pay the deductible, which the deductible, I'm not 100% sure, $250 or $500. I don't think it's quite that much, but that's something you could find out for sure. Tim Goetz, welcome. Oh, I'll start over right now just for you. I'm just kidding. Be on time, Tim. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So that's photo care. So $15,000 worth of insurance on your equipment. Now, it gets better. This is my favorite, and I think that this is probably the one biggest value to the money you pay to PPA to be a member, is the Indemnification Trust insurance. Welcome, Robert Quick. So Indemnification Trust, what that means, and I was going to read this just because it gives you a little bit better understanding. So through the Indemnification Trust, you have access to professional assistance when facing client claims of negligence. Regardless of who is at fault, the issue most commonly addressed by the trust includes data loss, claims of client dissatisfaction, and missed shots due to equipment malfunction or human error. So if you have a customer pissed off at you and you need some sort of legal help or backing, this is all covered in your PPA membership. PPA has professionals, service like lawyers and stuff that will basically be your, like, go to bat for you and take care of that stuff. If you lose a hard drive, now this actually has happened to us a couple of times in the last year or two. a hard drive that goes bad. Now you can send it off and have that recovered, or you can file a claim with PPA, and they will actually help you cover that cost of having your images recovered. So I think that's huge. Honestly, like just knowing that I have like a stronger team of lawyers behind me on stuff like, not malpractice, but negligence or something to that effect. We all do it. We've all had times. Most of the time we can work through it. Weddings are a harder thing. Like you screw it up at a wedding or screw something up at a wedding, people are bitter, angry, and with good reason. And so the Indemnification Trust really jumps in and helps you there. So that's that. Copyright and advocacy. Now, this is something that PPA has fought for years. And again, it's like one of those things where I haven't seen, and again, I love Sue Bryce. I haven't seen what her organization does to help photographers other than like put on events and stuff like that that are healthily charged, and basically like charge you additional for all the events. Now that's great. Obviously things have to be paid for. But I'm just saying like the money that goes does not come back to you in any way other than the education, which is incredibly valuable. Whereas with PPA, it all comes back to you in the long run with the education and stuff that they do and the Indemnification Trust insurance. Yes, Robert Quick, indemnification is included. So basically all that stuff that they do. So they've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to lobbyists to have people fight on Capitol Hill for basically the copyright law. In years past, copyright was a challenging thing. Now they provide copyright kits so photographers can actually copyright their images, protect their images and all that. And it's all covered under that membership fee. So copyright and advocacy, which is a huge thing. Sometimes if you've ever had somebody steal one of your images, I know this is this happens a lot, like stuff that goes on like TikTok and stuff like that. Big organizations will sometimes use that stuff, not thinking that the little guys will go after them or whatnot. So it's good to have that stuff. Now, here's another huge part, and I think this is absolutely amazing. If you're new to photography, which most of you guys I don't think are necessarily new to photography, but if you're newer to photography, some of the bigger challenges that you face are coming up with like your event photography contracts, independent contractor agreements, model releases, portrait contracts, sports action contracts, wedding contracts, licensing agreements, photo booth contracts. All those things, sample agreements, are in PPA. Now, those are not just willy-nilly throw words at a paper. They're actually checked by lawyers, and they are legit stuff that are available and included. Robert, you may be correct, and I'm guessing that is probably true for excluded for lifetime membership on PPA. I didn't know you could get lifetime membership with PPA, but that would make sense because when the CEO came and talked to us in Sun Valley last year, lifetime members is something he talked about, but he talked about it more along the sides of like state organizations. So I didn't know that it was even available. So you're a unique situation there. But if you paid the yearly, I'm sure, or you could probably add that onto your membership. You just need to call PPA and ask them about that. So sample agreements and contracts, huge thing for people that are new to the org or to the industry and can't figure all that stuff out. All of it is available out there. You can buy it online. You can piece it all together. But let me tell you, it takes a lot of time and effort to figure all that out. If you want to just find it all in one place and get it done, that's a great place to go. Next is the education. They have 900 plus online classes on PPA. I know this. I've known this for a long time. I still Don't ever go in there and look up much of the education, but I know that they have some excellent stuff there, and it's an incredible resource to go check it out. Free monthly live webinars, the photography workshops across the country, which are typically put on like Super One days and stuff like that. So, Facebook live sessions every other Wednesday about the most relevant entrepreneurial topics, and nationwide data and research for photographers. And that's actually really good. One of my favorite things, which they stopped doing, but it is one of the things that's included in your PPA membership, is the benchmark survey. Now, the last benchmark survey they did was about 9 years ago in 2013, I believe. And that was because they were using information from a specific studio software that was a popular software for years and years, I believe is how it was explained to me. A lot of people stopped using that software, but basically that they had to opt into this, and the software would track their information and determine that I guess the long and the short of it is that home studios typically did about $125,000, which was the benchmark expected, like $125,000 a year in sales, whereas typical studios did about $250,000 a year in sales. Now, these are numbers from back in 2013, and 2013 is when that came out, but the numbers were from like the year before. So it is still a really valuable survey. It's a lot of information to look through, and it's really intriguing. It's something that I have read through many times and looked at, and really just kind of studied it to understand really kind of where things are at in the industry. But that's one of the things. The business guide, and Square One is a tool designed to help you plan profitable business by beginning with the end in mind. So there's some great business resources in there. And then there's also some business or member discount programs. So benefits of being a member gets you some discounts on like albums, business services through Allied Business Network, cash flow solutions, constant contact email marketing, music software through Got Photo, Graphic Authority, On One Inc., Software Cinema, Triple Scoop Music, equipment through B&H Photo. Some of these things I didn't even realize, but apparently you can get some discounts through those. Marketing tools, they have some marketing tools in there, modern, classic, and bohemian style marketing tools. And then there's certifications. Now, the certifications, you can become a certified professional photographer. What's the benefit of it? Really, it's the thing that I like about it is it's understanding the most important basics. Well, not even basics, like the most important aspects of what it takes to be knowledgeable about how to use your camera, how to properly light and properly do things. Now, does that mean that if you're not a CPP, you're not a good photographer? No, it doesn't mean that. What does it matter being a CPP? It's honestly, it's a title. It has some marketing benefit potentially. I don't know that it's really, I'm partway done with my CPP. I've just been lazy about finishing the photos for it. So that's kind of my own problem. Actually, I did the photos for it, but I failed it because I forgot to put the cap on the marker, or had the cap on the back of the marker. Really like petty thing, but that's what they do. Now, their merit degrees and competitions, that is actually really interesting. To become a master photographer, they actually have a couple of different degree options. I'm going to read them here. They have Photographic Craftsman, Master of Photography, Master Artist, and Master of Wedding Photography. So you can actually get degrees in all those different things. And to give you an idea of what it takes to get those, like for the Photographic Craftsman, you need 13 speaking merits and 12 additional merits. To become a master photographer, you need 13 exhibition merits, which is competition merits, meaning you've submitted them to the IPC and you gained a merit, or there's a couple of different terms. I'm not necessarily the best on that. And then 12 additional merits, which could be service merits, it could be education, speaking merits, that kind of stuff. The Master Artist is 13 artist exhibition merits That means 13 artist prints that have merited at international print competition, and then 12 additional merits. Wedding is 13 wedding exhibition merits. Again, 13 images that merited specifically in wedding categories, and then 12 additional merits. So those are the degree options. Now, I've actually been working on my degree for a long time. I have, I think, 6 merits or 6 exhibition merits left because I avoided print competition for a long, long time. And then even when I did it at the state or district level, I didn't send them on to IPC, which really just kind of screwed me. But how it worked in the past is that we had international print competition once a year where you could submit images. Typically, you would print those images out, put them in a box, ship the box to Georgia, and they would pull them out and put them up on and have them judged by 6 judges in person. And if you got an 80 or above, you got a merit. If it went loan, which meant, I'm not even 100% sure because that's changed so much in the last couple of years, then you got 2 merits, I think it was. So that was so you'd have to get like 12 or 13 of those in order to get your master. So I've already got my speaking merits. I've got my service merits. I'm just like 6 merits away, I think, from getting my master photographer degree. And today they just announced some new changes. Now this is getting into the next part of all this. The changes that PPA has just announced today. If you're a member of PPA, you got the email. If you're not, you could probably go to the website and check it out. But basically what happened is they have changed it up to where we no longer have to wait for international print competition. I think with COVID, everything 2020, they got away from the physical print a little bit, went to more online, and then they kind of went partially back, which I think you could actually, in years past, you could submit online images. You didn't actually have to print them out and send them in. Now it's changing it up, and basically what they're going to do is February through November, you will be able to submit images for merits and for critiques. So if they're submitted, obviously you'll get a merit or not get a merit, and then you can have them critiqued so that you can really improve your game as far as that goes. Now, those merits, you'll no longer have to wait. Like this year particularly, I was being lazy. I didn't send my images in to IPC. I just missed the date and was like, man, I forgot to do it. So that means that I have to wait until next August to submit my, this is weirding me out that my hat's not centered. So I'd have to wait till next June, July to submit images, 4 images to be judged at IPC. And then if they didn't make it, then I'd have to wait another year. Whereas in February of 2023, this is going to be launched, and we will be able to submit images, up to 4 images a month, in what they called, let me see if I can find, there was a specific name for this new well, yeah. Anyway, it was a monthly image review. Duh. That was what it was called. So you'll be able to submit up to 4 images a month, have them critiqued. Now, what is the point of that? Like, if you're selling pictures, why does it matter if some organization thinks your pictures are good enough to have a thumbs up or a thumbs down? That's literally all it is. Of course, the purpose is to really grow within yourself. That's personally for me, it was a challenge. I wanted to have that title of master photographer, to know that I've put in the time, the effort. Yes, it's something you can use as marketing. I think Bob Quick is one of our people here who is a CPP can you still earn masters with 25 print merits only? I don't think so, Bob. I think according to this, it says you specifically have to have 13 exhibition merits and 12 additional merits. So you can't do it with just print merits only. So, but Bob is CPP and master photographer. The reason I know that is because I was just watching some videos that Bob did, and I was digitizing them for him. So that's why I knew. And if there's any other fun letters after your name, Bob, feel free, comment. But basically what this new change does, and there's actually another big change that they're going to announce in February, but they just didn't want to release everything all at one time. But this is really a huge thing. It really changes the game on being able to just focus on working towards a degree, not so much the whole competition mentality. There are people in our industry that literally live for competition. That's all they care about. They're not even necessarily making money in our industry. They're just simply like trying to win. We call them trophy chasers. And so this kind of eliminates that competition aspect. Because really, even in international print competition, it's not like you're competing against other photographers. You're really just competing against the 12 elements. The 12 elements are how your images are judged. That's going to remain the same. But that's kind of some of the information that will, or some of the difference in what's going to change about it. So you'll be able to submit photos literally every month. If you have, one of the biggest challenges for me is that like I would take pictures throughout the year, and a lot of times we'll actually take pictures specific for competition, because competition photos and your everyday client work are typically often pretty different. I've had times where I was working with a client and I said, you know what, hold on, I want to shoot one for me. I think this would be a great competition image. I'll change it up a little bit for that. And that worked. Very specifically, a couple of years ago when I went on family vacation, I photographed a sailboat out in the water in one of the little fishing villages in California. And there was fog all around. I very specifically photographed it with intention of hopefully doing well at competition. It was the first image I ever scored 100 points on, or a high scoring merit, whatever you will. So that's kind of like the point. The change makes it so that you can really just make this more about you and make it more about overcoming a challenge, becoming a master photographer, so that you really have some sort of accreditation, if you will, for your industry and what you're in. Shane says, when I tell clients at my studio who are considering hiring me that out of the 300 to 400 photographers in my area, only 13 of us are certified, I almost always get a wow, huge advantage. Yeah, and that is really, that's valuable. I honestly, any of those things you can do, those are marketing things. They're advantages for lots of reasons. So that's definitely something that you can use to your benefit. You can put it on your website. You can do lots of different things with it. And so definitely a good thing. Bob says, does the program fast track to get masters? I believe that's the point, is to make it easier so that it's not such a drawn out process, because some people have waited years just because they struggle with that aspect of it. The competition part. For me, it's not because I take bad pictures. It was literally because I'm a last minute Linda. I do things for print competition for state the day before, and then I forget about everything until IPC, and then I typically am turning everything in the day before, and it's just a nightmare anyway. So having it be to where you can turn it in once a month makes things great. You don't have to turn in 4 photos. You can turn in less, but it just gives you an opportunity to work through things. What I was trying to say earlier was that I would take pictures throughout the year, and then I'd have to go spend hours or days looking through things, trying to find what images I wanted to use for competition, because most of my work was just client work. And so it was just kind of a pain. So this really does help a lot of things. Now, what does all this mean? Does any of it matter in making money in this business? No. You can make money in this industry just as good as the next guy. However, there is a little bit of an edge that immersing yourself in the PPA organization does for you. One, it is community minded and it is education based. I don't think that you have any disadvantage to adding education in any way to your business. I think that if anything, some of the people that suffer the most in our industry are the people that have a tendency to think they know everything. They don't need the education. They don't want to spend the money on the education. It's been one of the biggest benefits to me in my business for years is spending the money on education. The community is helpful for a number of different reasons. I have photographers all over the country that I can call and I have good friendships with, and I can say, hey, what do you think of this? I don't have to necessarily rely on just my local people because they don't necessarily all have the same issues that I'm dealing with. Whereas in PPA, I've met people and other members of PPA through imaging who I can rely on. I can call and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or what would you suggest doing? Tim Goetz was actually, this year was the first time he came to imaging, and I would think, I believe he thought it was quite a good experience, other than maybe one time, one night. But Tim, I'd love for you to comment, like if that's something you think that you're going to continue to do, because I know up until this year, the only convention or only thing that Tim really participated in that had anything to do with photography was Sync. He's a longtime patron or veteran of Sync, but this year we talked him into going to imaging, and I believe he had a great time. I hope he learned a lot. I know I learn a lot every time I go. So is it worth spending the money? Absolutely. Will it do something for your business? Yeah, I think it gives you just a little bit more of a leg up on what's going on. One thing that I have noticed and that I regularly noticed in my local area is I saw very few people traveling and going to these educational conventions or get-togethers. And I did see like my trajectory was growing fast, whereas other people were kind of sitting kind of just this like leveled out whatever. So and yet I have seen some of those photographers that have started going to conventions and stuff like that and had and had lots more growth, and just kind of really had the opportunity to see new potential, meet new people, and to grow from those things. And so, again, 100%, I would say, will it help you? Absolutely. Is it worth the money? Absolutely. I'm not like, my point is not to get a whole bunch of referral credits out of this. I don't care if you use my name or not. If you're not a member of PPA, become a member of PPA. If you don't want to do it, I'm not going to cry for you, whatever. Do I think you're missing out? Yes, I do. So take it all for what it's worth. I think it's largely beneficial to your business, and I think that it's something that can help you grow a little bit faster and just really challenge yourself to move forward. So Shane, I would love to hear if you want to comment real quick if you think it's worth being a member of PPA. Obviously you have your CPP, so you think it's worth it. Annie and I actually did our CPP together. Annie, Bart, and I did. And we even did the photos together, but then something happened and they left for the day and I did my photos. And that's when I forgot to put the marker cap on. They came back, did it. They followed all the instructions instead of trying to do them. So no, Annie, I have not gotten my CPP certification yet because I've been lazy about getting that done. So other than that, Bob says, originally the merit program was created to establish a benchmark for professional quality due to the influx of poor quality being sold as a professional photographer. And yeah, that's very true. And I mean, we still face that and deal with that. again, there are obviously people who, they're the purists. Robert is probably one of them. Bob is probably one of the purists. He spent a lot of time, and well, his whole life. I mean, he's a young character. He's just a day over 35, but he spent his whole life learning this industry and devoted to this industry, and seeing some of the stuff that happens in the industry. Anybody that's been in the industry long enough, you see trends, you see things that you're just like, you want to cry because you're like, that is so not right in our world or in the industry of photography, but it works, it sells, and chasing the trends sometimes is important. But some of those purists or the people that have been in the industry for a long time, and I'm sure at some point in time I'm going to get to that. I already do have some of those things. Like Mia and I were talking the other day. We were looking through another photographer, and she just had these really brown, like golden skin tones, and I was just like, it's such like so frustrating to see that so many people love that, and you get to see all the comments, oh my gosh, your skin tones are amazing, like, and it's just like, it's just trend. But Mia was like, oh my gosh, I love them. And I'm like, and that's why we're different. So, yeah. Shane says, I've been a member for almost 10 years, and it is absolutely worth it. The insurance that's included alone is well worth the cost. And add CPP, imaging, community, and credibility. It gives. It's a no-brainer. And that's exactly how I feel. I saw my business really start to grow when I joined PPA. Being a part of just my local chapter or affiliate, which is PPI, helped me grow a lot. But then taking it a step further and going to PPA, and starting to go to imaging and stuff like that. You know, I look forward to that every year, that opportunity to go to imaging. It's one of the best weeks, I think, every year of my life, getting to spend that time with other members and people that I get to see. So hopefully I'll get to see all of you guys there this year. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. If you're not a member of PPA, you should be a member. Use me as a referral. I don't care either way. Just do it and read about it and get into their website and see what all they have to offer, because there's a lot of benefit there. So that's pretty much it. If any of you guys have anything else to add, feel free to do so. Otherwise, that's pretty much all I got for you. I guess it was still 42 minutes. It felt like it was short, but Mia's surprised I'm still on. Pursuing excellence is what, Bob? Pursuing excellence is what's your new plate gonna be? Oh, so I'll tell you the quick story. As we all know, 2020 made everything fun. And the other day, it was brought to my attention that I hadn't registered my car. And so I went down to the DMV and I thought I was good. I have a custom license or a vanity plate that says Photog. Everybody thinks it says Photo OG. Yeah, Photo OG, which is kind of funny because people are like, oh, you're the original gangster of photography, whatever. That's what people think. So I go to the DMV, and the guy was like, well, I don't know why it won't link back up. I don't understand. And he's like, you realize you haven't registered your car for 2 years? And I was like, what? I was like, I swear I just did it with my boat last year. Well, long story short, I hadn't done it for 2 years, and I lost my plate. So somebody else here in Idaho has my new Photog plate. If you can find out who that is, if you're in Idaho and you find somebody driving around with a Photog plate, find out their name and let me know so that I can off them. I'm just kidding. I won't actually do that. I probably shouldn't say that on, yeah. But anyway, that is, so anyway, so now I have to come up with a new plate because I don't know what to do. And no, it is not going to be that, you tool. So, Yeah, that's what if you guys have any good ideas, I'd love 7 letters.
Andrea said snapper.
Snapper? No. That's terrible. Maybe it's not. You can exchange the plate for their web domain. That's probably true. I probably own their domain because I have a tendency to buy people's domains. Like I own Bart's and numerous others. I own Mia's. I own this guy in Idaho Falls or Jackson that's a wildlife photographer. I own Jens. I own what? Yeah, so I own a bunch of people's, because for some reason people just don't set up, like, they just don't go in and register their domain. So, yeah. Shane says, I used to have bokeh, and I got sick of explaining to non-photogs what bokeh is. That makes sense. There's a couple of people here, like Larry Fry has XIF, which I'm sure nobody understands. That's not a photographer. Even some photographers probably don't understand it. She says, Andrea says it was me. I stole it, the OG.
You should do SMPAF.
No, because my old video guy used to have lit AF.
I remember.
And we made a sticker that said gay and put it on his license plate, which I apologize. Nothing bad. I support it all, whatever. Anyway, that's my story. Tasha, I'm glad you could make it for the end.
Happy new house, Tasha.
Mia says happy new house. Mia's not even got a camera because she's stuffing her face. I wish I could turn the camera on so you can see. Tasha says, I see people commenting about PPA certification. I have a bachelor's degree in photography, so I never felt I needed a PPA certification. I wonder if there are people who have both and their thoughts. Actually, Tasha, one thing that is really quite incredible is I see a lot of the people who do have like degrees in fine art and photography do really well in like image competition and stuff like that. Do I think that it's necessary? Honestly, I think it's great. And just like James said above, like you can have a degree in photography, and I mean that's beneficial. Obviously you run a successful business, but I think that having that accreditation with kind of our well-known organization, international organization. Mia puts Bass for Life, BSS4L, or Annie. I didn't mean Mia, but anyway. So yeah, I do think that it's really beneficial. It kind of takes you back to the roots, but also keeps you up to date with everything. And again, it's just one of those things. It's just a way to challenge yourself. If you aren't at least just a member of PPA, honestly, you should, just because the insurance, the equipment insurance, the photo care equipment insurance and the indemnification are huge. Like just being able to have the lawyers from PPA to fight your battles for you if you screw something up, that's kind of huge. So go sign up right now. Use my name. There's a link at the very top of all the comments. If you click on it, you can go in and put my name in there, and you can sign up, and you won't regret it. And then you can just come see me at Imaging too, and so we'll get to see each other twice a year. Even better. No, you don't have to be. But if you sign up for Imaging, the first year you sign up, you actually get Imaging, the pass for Imaging free.
I mean, first year you sign up for PPA.
Yeah. So that's like a $350 value right there. So another benefit. Anyway, that's it. I already went longer than I was expecting to go, so peace out, Girl Scout. What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Marvin, and I have been in the photography industry for 25 plus years. While I love being a creative, business is my passion, and elevating the industry of photography is my focus. I created still thinking about bougie tog.
Just bouge dog.
Bouge tog?
Yeah. Like, why bougie? Oh,
Because bougie is a word. Like, but then it would only be good for a couple years.
Sounds a little too feminine.
Oh. Okay, fine.
So my daughter's officially for sale.
Oh, really?
Actually,